Andre Onana has maintained his starting place in between the sticks. Luke Shaw drops from left back to central defense, the left-hand side of it, together with Harry Maguire. Diogo Dalot is now inverted to the left back. Wan-Bissaka takes his place on the right as the right back. Kobe Maino is starting back in the starting squad, shielding the back four. Bruno Fernandes and Scott McTominay again starting. McTominay getting the nod ahead of Sofiane Amrabat. Up top is Anthony Martial as the number 9. Marcus Rashford is in. Alejandro Garnacho is in as well. So Rasmus Højlund, Anthony Dos Santos, Sofiane Amrabat, and the centre-back, Victor Lindelof, are among the surprise omissions in the starting 11. Manchester United taking on Newcastle at Tyneside Derby, an exciting game we're about to go into. But what's your take on this starting lineup? It's about an hour to kick off of the game. It's Christmas, of course, coming up, but we don't want to start our month in with a beating. Well, the Christmas will not make any sense if we start with a beating. But this is the man, Erik Ten Hag, the Tinkerman, and I'm seeing quite a number of comments about his starting 11. You can let me know what you think about it. Many people are not exactly happy. Of course, for Rasmus Højlund, maybe he's not 100% fit. Perhaps we'll be told exactly what goes on. Remember the last game in the Champions League, he was substituted off in the second half. But the substitutes, Bayindil, who certain people were hoping would make his first start for Manchester United, is still on the bench. Victor Lindelof has dropped to the bench. Amrabat is on the bench. Rasmus Højlund is on the bench. Sergio Reguilon is on the bench. Rafael Varane, Anthony Pelistri, and Donny van de Beek. That's the bench. It looks a bit deep. I mean, I feel like this squad is making us feel like we've got depth in our squad. But for me, the most important thing is the fact that Kobe Maino is starting. I'm not so happy that I don't get an opportunity to see Rasmus Højlund playing alongside Kobe Maino yet. But when that moment comes, then the right moment comes, we'll get to enjoy the two. But that is our starting lineup in this one. Anthony, for me, is one of those. Of course, for Martial starting ahead of Højlund, it should be definitely because Højlund is not 100% fit, perhaps according to the manager, because we had that bit of concern even coming into that game against Galatasaray. He wasn't 100% fit. Remember, I had an injury before that. But for me, Anthony and the game he had, arguably one of his better games, being dropped in favor of Marcus Rashford, for me again shows me what we've been saying. Erik Ten Hag finds it difficult to drop Marcus Rashford when he's fit. You wonder whether it's order from above, instructions from above, but Ten Hag finds it very difficult to drop Marcus Rashford when he's fit. Because to be honest, I think Anthony, and we've always complained about Anthony and his fitness and his performances. To be honest, he warranted himself a start in this one. I don't know whether he dropped badly in training and Marcus Rashford was up and blazing. Well, of course, on the other side, you might think about the pace that Rashford brings. But for me, things to do with Rashford, for me, I don't excite me anymore because even with his pace, he makes the wrong decisions most of the times lately. But he will be starting on the right. Let me know about that starting 11. Is it good enough to deal with Newcastle? I'm seeing people commenting, saying Anthony had his best game. Exactly what I was saying, his best game. While yet doesn't start for a contender for the flop of the season, that's Marcus Rashford. We are wasting Maino talent as a defensive midfielder. He's better used as a box-to-box midfielder. Should have paired him with Amrabat. Why bench him for McTominay? That was my take as well. I thought Sofiane Amrabat should be playing alongside Maino. Of course, the thing about Scott McTominay and what makes it so difficult for Erik Ten Hag, and I understand, to bench him, is that he scores goals, and United need goals from anyone who can give us. So it becomes so difficult to drop him when he's scoring goals, even if defensively he doesn't give us much. The fact that he's one, smart move away from his next goal, it's difficult to relegate him to the bench. So that's why he will obviously keep getting the nod ahead of Sofiane Amrabat. But if you ask me, the partnership, a pair of Maino and Amrabat, for me makes sense because that gives us balance in the middle. United looks exposed if you are playing with one holding midfielder. Maino is going to have a lot of work to do. The beauty is that this boy makes things look so easy, but that load when we lose the ball, more so against a team like Newcastle that has got runners, good players on the ball, good enough they have got a bit of injuries themselves. But I think for me still, we need Maino supported by a more holding or defensive minded player. Scott McTominay is confusing. Comments again, I don't see any of our team being good enough, even against the few injuries that Newcastle have. I'm hoping I'm wrong. Shaw as a left sided centre back, well, he plays brilliantly well in that position. Brilliantly. And Erik Ten Hag is a manager who loves to see a left-footed player play on the left-hand side of the central defense. I hinted about it. I was saying it's something that could happen. I didn't think maybe he would do it because Luke Shaw is just returning from injury. Even against Galatasaray, he did not look at his Luke Shaw best in left back. You give him time to first cement the left back, to first get back to his levels on the left back before you start playing him in the left-hand side of the central defense. But Luke Shaw is that good technically. And maybe him and Maguire, who is one of our better players consistently in the past couple of games, can give us a good balance on that side. So I want to give it a chance, but I feel like Erik Ten Hag tinkers things at the wrong time, and that's one problem he's got. He's a tinker man, a tinker man. If it's working, why fix it? For me, I think in that game against Galatasaray, there was only one thing to fix for United: how we play without the ball in the middle, balance the middle, play Sofian Amrabat together with Maino, could have left the rest of the guys who started that game. But chooses again to tinker a lot. Diogo Dalot going back to the left, he has never looked good for me that side. He can try and manage and and try and have a decent game because he's a work hardy, and all, but he has never looked good there. So you don't try things against big teams like Newcastle. Newcastle is a point ahead of us. They are a place and a point ahead of us, 24-23 for United. They are one of the stronger teams, if you ask me. But there are people who feel excited about the squad, by the way. And for me, the only confidence, though, is the fact that Kobe Maino is there. And in Maino, we trust. He is one kid who is going to hold this entire team and make everyone look comfortable. That's what he has done to United anyway, since his advent. So that's the positive you can look at. But the reality is, Erik Ten Hag tinkers a little too much sometimes. And if this doesn't work, I think he's going to have a lot of beating to take. No one will understand why Rasmus Højlund is on the bench. If he's fit, he should be starting. If he's half fit, if he's fit enough to make the bench, he should be fit enough to start and maybe not play the full 90 minutes. Why isn't he starting? We want goals. We want him to score a Premier League goal. Anthony Martial is there. He's a confusion. He had mistakes in Galatasaray. He could be, at fault for the goal that people are blaming Onana for. He blocked him and didn't try to jump and head the ball away. So the selection for Erik Ten Hag is still being put under a lot of scrutiny. But unfortunately for now, people have got their eyes wide open. We see what he's doing. People are silent and watching and seeing, okay, we see what you're doing. Someone is saying there's a fine line between bold and desperate. We'll see what Erik Ten Hag is doing. But if it doesn't work, it will be difficult for those of us who like him, by the way, to defend him against people who are calling for his head, because we've got the players, we've got Maino improving us. United has got to be winning games more confidently now, and Erik Ten Hag has got to be making the right selections. This squad, with Maino there, I think we'll still win the game. We won't lose. How many goals? I think I'll still go for a close 3-2 or 3-1 for United in this one. But let's wait and see how this defense will start. How up top we start with Anthony Martial scoring goals together. Of course, Martial plays a little well with Marcus Rashford. I think Rashford loves to assist Martial more than he would love to assist Højlund. I think the two have, of course, understandably, because they've played together longer, they have a better love affair between them than we've seen between Rashford and Højlund, at least in the Premier League. Let's hope we see the goals coming. But that is it. That's the squad. What do you think? Hotspot, subscribe. My name is Webb. Let me catch you later, fam.